so he decided to retire early. And in the 1850s, he returned here to his native New England. He settled back down in Boston. And he was suffering from dyspepsia. And his doctor told him that the best remedy would be lots of fresh air. So he made a trip back up here to the White Mountains, visiting family in Campton. And one day in August of 1857, he climbed Mount Washington. Now the problem was that Sylvester Marsh knew nothing about the weather on this mountain. And so he was completely unprepared when he left the base on a perfectly good August afternoon. But when he got above the trees, up above 5,000 feet, he was in for something completely different. The weather turned against him suddenly and dramatically, and he nearly succumbed to hypothermia. But he got very lucky, because at the time there were a couple of buildings on the summit that had recently been built, including the Tip Top House, which was built in 1853. The Tip Top House is still up there today. You'll see it when you get off the train. And so he was able to reach the summit, stagger into the Tip Top House, gain shelter, and thereby save his life. And he spent the night there. When he woke up the next morning, everything had changed completely. Deep blue skies and tremendous views in all directions. You could see to the east out to the Atlantic Ocean, to the north up to Canada, and to the west across Vermont's Green Mountains to the Adirondacks of upstate New York. And so he made a vow to himself right then and there to figure out a better way to get more people up this mountain to enjoy its beauty without risking their lives the way he had the day before. And eventually he came up with this rack and pinion railway idea. But at the time, nobody thought he could do it. And he needed to get a charter to be permitted to build the railway on the mountain. That required an act of the state legislature. So in 1858, he headed down to Concord. And there, he encountered more than a few skeptical legislators. In the 1850s, people simply had a hard time believing that a train could climb a mountain. They'd never seen anything like it before, and they thought Sylvester Marsh was completely nuts. They called him Crazy Sylvester, and they nearly laughed him out of the State House. But they did grant the charter, I suppose because they were curious enough to want to see what might happen. And immediately after the deciding vote was cast, one of the legislators then announced that as soon as he reached the summit with that nice little train of his, he had the legislature's blessing to then extend his railway all the way to the moon. And so that's how the Cock Railway became known as the Railway to the Moon. But Sylvester got the last laugh because after waiting out the Civil War, he began construction in 1866. That's what the date on the logos means. And with a team of 300 Civil War veterans blazing their way through the wilderness, they had the whole thing done in less than 3 years. The first train went to the summit on July 3rd, 1869. And among our earliest passengers was the sitting president, Ulysses S. Grant, and his family here on vacation in New Hampshire. Now, through most of our history, our trains have been steam-powered, at first burning wood. We converted to coal in 1910, and we burned exclusively coal from 1910 all the way up until 2008, when we began converting to biodiesel locomotives, such as the one on our train here. We now have 7 of these biodiesels. We've preserved 2 working steam locomotives from the old fleet. And during the heart of the season, we run steamers twice a day. On the current schedule, the steamers are not running all the way to the summit. They're running up to these buildings up here on the left that I will tell you about in a few minutes here. These biodiesels run on a blend of 80% diesel fuel and 20% friolator fat, the stuff that French fries are cooked in. And it comes from restaurants in the area. It, of course, burns much more cleanly and efficiently than coal. And all of our biodiesels, as well as all these coaches, so all of our rolling stock, except for the steam locomotives, were designed and built right here on site, down in our shops, by our own people. All right, we're hitting a switch here where we're going to split on the double track for about a half mile before returning to single track for the rest of the way. And this is where the up and down mountain trains pass each other. Since we're the first train on the mountain of the day, there won't be any coming down, so when you come down later on, you will see trains coming up. These switches are solar powered, panels on the roof there. All of this work going on here, they're laying electrical conduit and hooking up these buildings to power. Water tank straight ahead, it's called the Wambeck tank. It's at 3,800 feet. So we've already gained about 1,100 feet of elevation since leaving the base. The Wambeck tank is still in use, servicing our steam trains. And those locomotives require 1,000 gallons of water to make a single trip to the summit. But their little tenders only hold about 700 gallons, so each steam train has to stop here on its way up to the summit to top off. And it takes 1 ton of coal to make a single trip to the summit. So a ton of coal and 1,000 gallons of water for the steamers. These biodiesels burn between 16 and 20 gallons of biodiesel fuel on a single run. Now these buildings here are called Wambeck Station, only a couple of years old. As you can see, they're doing electrical work here. This serves mainly as our off-season destination. So during the times when the state park is closed at the summit, roughly mid-October to late April. The weather's far too harsh up there during that time to drop people off with there being no shelter. So for reduced fare, people can come this far, still get the train experience. They're high up enough that they can see the views to the west. We serve hot refreshments. And during most of that time, this is all covered in snow. So it's not unusual to see people hiking up along the tracks with skis strapped to their backs and then skiing back down along the tracks. The water bars, the drainage pipes make for nice ski jumps, so some of them might actually perform for you. Now, if you can open a window or something here to the right, you'll be able to look right across and see the Lakes of the Clouds hut. There's a gap in the trees right here. Get a look at the ridge line coming down from Mount Washington. Lakes of the Clouds hut. Ammonoosuc River winding down the mountain directly below the hut. And the Southern Presidential Range, Mount Monroe rising right up above the hut there. The Presidential Range consists of 9 peaks altogether running north to south. Mount Washington is right at the center. So there are 4 southerns and 4 northerns. The southern range here to our right, Mount Monroe, right above the hut, with Mount Franklin right beside it. Further back are Mounts Eisenhower and Pierce. The 4 northern presidentials are up here to our left. And from north to south, those are Mounts Madison, Adams, Jefferson, and Clay. Mount Clay, named for Henry Clay, is closest to the tracks up here to the left. They're being replaced on a regular basis. As you can imagine, they get weathered pretty quickly. So our track crew is out here all the time. And they're inspecting and replacing as necessary.
You get to do this every day?
So what that essentially means is there's nothing original on the tracks at all.
I thought he was saying the train only went that long. I didn't know if you had another way to get there.
And then up there to the left is Mount Clay. Mostly in the clouds, you can see part of the summit up there.
So you don't have, you go up by road then, or no? I can only do one.
Post office, and the ticket office,
Okay. Well, that's nice.
and then when I come back down in October, I'll work at the Quebec station, November 2nd, and then in January,
And right about here, we're at 4,000 feet above sea level.
and I go to various train shows.
Wonderful. That sounds like a great mix of a job. Good. All around the country or just around here?
All around the country. I went to the share I went to JJ Museum of Transportation. Missouri Railroad. Wisconsin, Waterville, Farmington Railway. So I do travel quite a bit.
Wonderful. That's neat.
We have to slab. Yeah, sometimes the spring gets more warmer than the time. Yeah.
I wonder if I was hanging out with you different.
Last weekend,
Now, coming up just ahead here to the right of the tracks is a little shack, and that's called the Halfway House because it's just about halfway to the summit. It's at 4,500 feet. And no matter what your eyes might try to tell you here, this building is perfectly level. And you'll see that. If you look at our reflection in the window as we go by, you can see how steeply we're climbing the mountain. Since the windowsill is level, it creates a nice reference to see the grade that the train is climbing. So check this out right here to the right. And a little further ahead up here, also just to the right of the tracks, you're going to see an interesting little rock formation with a white background behind it that's there so you can see the profile of the rock more sharply. And this is a remarkable likeness of the Old Man of the Mountain, which is the state symbol of New Hampshire. And if you spend any time in this state at all, you've seen that symbol just about everywhere. It's on our license plates, our highway signs, among many other things. And the symbol is based on a much larger rock formation which once upon a time hung from the cliffs of Cannon Mountain over in Franconia Notch, about 25 miles southwest of here. And when you stood below that and looked up, you could see the profile of an old man's face on the side of the mountain. Now, you can't do that anymore because in 2003, the old man broke off of Cannon Mountain and fell to the valley below. But this rock here looks remarkably like the original old man. And it's also completely natural, so no artist took a chisel to sculpt this face. And we're close enough now you can start to see the face. So you see the white background and the rock in front of it. The most prominent facial feature is the nose right in the middle, with the forehead up above and the square chin below it with a little notch for the mouth. And it's all in the angle that you look at it from in order to see the face. You'll notice as we get closer here, the angle changes and the face disappears. And dead ahead here is perhaps the most dramatic part of the railway itself. This is a 300-foot long trestle called Jacob's Ladder. It rises to 30 feet off the ground while bending to the left 30 degrees. It's at 4,725 feet above sea level. And Jacob's Ladder has the steepest grade on the railway at 37.41%. Now, to illustrate for you how steep this grade is, if you can see how I'm standing, you notice that my feet are well inside the doorway, while at the same time my head is well outside the doorway. So it looks like I'm leaning forward, but I'm actually standing perfectly vertical, just like the buildings below us. To prove that to you, take a look at my microphone. It doubles as a plumb bob. So if you stand up, you'll certainly feel that grade in your legs, particularly your calves. Sort of walk from the rear of the train to the front right now, you probably get your workout for the week. The front row are seated 14 feet higher than the people down in the back row here in Jacob's Ladder. Yeah, and you're probably noticing how the trees are getting shorter gradually as we climb the mountain. We're getting pretty close to the tree line, so in a few minutes here, the trees are going to disappear altogether. If anybody on the train has a problem with heights, don't look down to the left right now. Because we've got a clear view all the way down to the floor of Burt Ravine. That's about 850 feet down, directly to the left of the tracks. And if you look hard back to the left, you can see all the way down the railway, down to the base station below us. And beyond, out to Bretton Woods, Mount Washington Hotel out there. Looking in the distance to the left, you're looking northwesterly. You see some cloud cover and a couple of hills sticking out from the clouds. The Connecticut River is right on the other side of those hills. That's the border between New Hampshire and Vermont. So most of what you're looking at out there is in northeastern Vermont. Right here on the right, say hello to our little green friend. This is Rocky the Cob Frog right here. He's smiling at you, he's happy to see you. here we've reached 5,000 feet above sea level, so we're now above the official tree line. As the scrub pines disappear. And from this point onward, the landscape consists mainly of rocks, alpine grass, and moss. And that's about it. This is Arctic tundra. It's very much like northern Canada, 700 or 800 miles north of here.
And here's the fog. I'm not fog, the clouds.
And Mount Clay is right over there to our left, about 200, 250 yards or so. And just up beyond it, there's a huge ravine called the Great Gulf, which sits between Mount Washington on its south and the northern presidential range on its west and north. The Great Gulf is what geologists refer to as a glacial cirque, because it was carved out by the glaciers as they retreated, leaving behind a lot of rocks and some pretty dramatic terrain. So if you look over there to the left, you can sort of see a ridge line. And that's where the Great Gulf begins, because at that point, the terrain suddenly plunges well over 1,000
now
feet,
it's starting to
more than
drop. The
1,100
temperature's
feet,
dropping
from up here
rapidly.
down to the floor of the Great Gulf. And the Appalachian Trail runs all along the rim of the Gulf over there. And as the clouds start to thin out a little bit, if you look up to the left there, you can see a whole bunch of little rock monuments, piles of stones about 4 feet high. Those are called cairns. They mark the hiking trails above tree line. So a lot of hiking trails around here. The Appalachian Trail, which here locally is called the Gulfside Trail, is paralleling us out there about 25 yards to our left, running right along the rim of the Great Gulf over there. And you can see more of these cairns approaching the tracks. We have a trail that's going right under the tracks right ahead here. You can see more cairns up there to the right. This is called the West Side Trail, which essentially connects the northern presidential range to the Lakes of the Clouds over there to our right, bypassing Mount Washington summit on its west side. Now, if you hike that trail over there, the Appalachian Trail, Gulfside Trail, there are a few spots up ahead where it runs literally right along the rim of the Gulf. So within inches of your hiking boots, it's dropping down 1,100 feet. Kind of like walking along the ledge of the skyscraper. And after we crush this hill just ahead of us here, you're going to see a ridge line up to the left. You might see a vehicle or two moving along that ridge, because that's where the Mount Washington Auto Road climbs up to the summit on the northeast flank of the mountain, 7.6 miles long. So it's on the other side of the mountain from the railway. We're on the west side. The auto road is actually older than the railway. It opened in 1861. It wasn't called the auto road back then. It was called the Mount Washington Carriage Road. So in the 19th century, people came up here, of course, and buggy. These days, of course, you can drive your own car up the auto road. You pay the fare, and they'll give you one of those nice little bumper stickers you see everywhere that says, "This car climbed Mount Washington." But before you go and do that, you might want to know a little bit more about that road. And there's the ridge line up there to the left. That's where the road runs. It's anything but a major highway. It winds and twists its way up the mountain, switching back several times. No guardrails anywhere on it. Despite the fact that the terrain drops off right next to the shoulder of the road in several places, hundreds of feet down, maybe 1,000 or more. I drove it once myself. It took a while for the blood to flow back to my knuckles afterwards. So if you're like me and that's not your cup of tea, but you still want to check it out, there is an alternative. You can ride in one of their vans and get a guided tour. And put your fate into the hands of one of their drivers. So there you see the summit area up to the right. That's the Sherman Adams Visitor Center that I've been talking about. You see the flat roof observation deck with the picture windows on this north side. Again, restrooms, snack bar, gift shop inside. That odd-looking castle-like turret on this end of the building houses the instrumentation of the Mount Washington Weather Observatory. And the observatory is a nonprofit organization that's been based here on the summit since 1932. And they do a lot of weather-related research. They provide daily, actually hourly forecasts from the summit. And that's where I got the weather data I shared with you earlier. Down on the ground level of the building, they operate a small weather museum called the Extreme Weather Museum. So if the little bit that I told you about the weather is interesting to you, you'll learn a lot more in there. They do charge a small admission, but if you show them your COG tickets, they'll let you in there for free. Now, shortly after the observatory was created, in April of 1934, they recorded the fastest land wind speed ever recorded by man on Earth, 231 miles an hour. The winds were blowing here on top of Mount Washington that day. And they did not have a nice secure concrete building to hang out in when those winds were blowing. The Adams building wasn't built until 1980. They were in a rickety little wooden shack, feeling like they were going to get blown off the mountain. And in all likelihood, they would have, if it weren't for the heavy-duty steel chains draped over the roof and anchored in bedrock, literally holding that shack down to the mountain. Now that shack has since been replaced with another building just like it. It now serves the auto road, and they have a nice little gift shop in there if you want to check it out. It's right at the end of our tracks. You walk all the way down to the end, and it's right there. And you'll know you're in the right place when you see the chains draped over the roof, holding that building down to the mountain. The record high temperature at the summit is 72 degrees Fahrenheit. It's never, ever been warmer than that up here. The record low is 47 below. And that's happened twice. Most recently, last year, on February 6th of 23, the wind chill that day, 110 degrees below zero Fahrenheit. So anybody got any questions as to why we don't drop people off up here in the middle of winter?
No, I was at the 4,000.
Seymour Cairns right here. That's where the Appalachian Trail bends away from the Great Gulf down there by those trail junction signs, and then makes its way up to the right here to the summit. And for those of you not familiar with the Appalachian Trail, it's a roughly 2,190 mile hiking trail that begins way down south on top of Springer Mountain in the state of Georgia, and it goes all the way to the summit of Mount Katahdin in northern Maine, another 350 miles or so north of here. Every year in the springtime, thousands of people set out from Springer Mountain, hoping to thru hike it all the way to Maine, but only a small fraction of them succeed. Those that do usually finish it up in around 4 to 6 months, and the bulk of them are typically passing through here between mid-July and the end of August. So you've missed the so-called thru-hiker bubble. But if you're ever here during that time, they're pretty easy to pick out because they typically carry backpacks that are considerably larger than the day hikers around here. And they're well into their journey at this point. So most of the guys by now have grown really thick, long, bushy beards. And if all of that is not enough for you to distinguish them, I guarantee you'll smell them long before you see them. All right, as you can see, we're getting pretty close. So this is a good time for me to brief you on what the drill is while you're up here. And as I think all of you are aware, you have approximately 1 hour to spend on the summit. And the clock starts ticking on that hour when you step off the train. So when you get off the train, I suggest take a look at your watches, your phones, make note of the time, because your train down the mountain will depart the summit approximately 1 hour from that point, and you'll want to be ready to board 5 or 10 minutes ahead of that time. It is approximate, I can't give you an exact minute of departure because it depends on when the next hour's trains get up here. It'll be one of those trains that picks you up and brings you back down. So you will not be riding back down with us. This works on a rotation. The up mountain trains drop their passengers off, and then we pick up the people that have been up here for the last hour and bring them down immediately. So you'll be riding a different train back down, but you are on the A train. Your tickets say platform A, so you'll be looking for the train that comes up with a big letter A sign out front of the coach here. And in your case, that train will probably be pulling all the way up to the far end of the tracks. So that's where you'll be boarded. You will need to show your tickets to get back on board, so make sure you hang on to your tickets. And you'll be asked to sit in the same seats you're in now. In your case, not a big deal. There's only 14 of you. But here's the most important part. Don't miss that train. Because that's the only train that you have reserved seats on. And this is our busiest time of year. And we're going flat out the rest of the day. Maxing out 3 trains every hour, and most of them, if not all of them, are going to be full. So if you miss that train, it might take a while to find you a seat on another train afterwards, all right? You become a standby passenger, we'll find you the next seat on the next available train. But it's today, of all days, this time of year, it's not guaranteed. So everything is much smoother when you pay attention to time while you're up here and get on that train that you're booked on. When we come to a stop at the platform, if you wouldn't mind remaining at your seats, just briefly, allow me to do what I have to do to get us situated, and then I'll give you the go-ahead to get off. One of the things you might want to do while you're here on the summit is touch the very top of the mountain. That's marked by a cairn and a sign that says Mount Washington Summit 6288. The summit cairn's right on the other side of the Adams building. I'll point it out to you when we pull up. I think also, as these clouds clear off a bit, you might get a really nice southerly view, which is straight ahead. You see this big radio tower starting to appear here. Walk past that to the right. If you're unsure of your footing, you might not want to do this because you have to step over some big boulders. But you'll get a view about 1,300 feet down to Lakes in the Clouds and down to the base station.
But the other one's finished, so if we wanted to, it would fit over here.
Okay, welcome to the rock pile, also known as Mount Washington. Entrance to the building right there, big garage door. Turn right to go inside. Restrooms are pretty quickly up on your left as you go in. You can see the summit cairn right over the top of the building there. So to get to it, just walk right through and out the other side. It's straight ahead of you. The Tip Top House is just beyond. The building with the chains and the gift shop straight ahead. And there's the big radio tower. So please watch your step getting off the train, folks. Thanks so much for coming. Enjoy the rest of the day, and be ready in an hour. Actually, less than an hour. The train will depart in an hour.
Okay, so we gotta be ready by 8:30.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Feel that?
Good.
Close back or you good?
Huh?
Close back or you good?
No, I'm fine. That's quite a drop.
Look at those clouds.
Don't trip there. Careful, these rocks here. Oh, yep. He's a little bit slippery.
You guys take a picture, and then I can take one of you guys.
Very careful. Very slick rocks.
Whatever works. Careful. Sign. Okay. They said the rocks are slick. Careful. It goes slick. You want me to get one of you guys? If you can make it up here.
I left it over there. It's fine. There's not many people up here.
You guys want a picture?
Yes, please. Liam, stop the sign, guys. Stop filming. We're getting photos. Stop filming.
Yeah, I know it's a little bit slick.
Stand next to the sign.
Sign right there, bud. Behind you.
Okay, can you step that way so I can get down?
It's the highest you can get. It's the highest you can get. Right up here is the tallest rock.
You want to get just the kids now?
Sure, I will.
Do I get your phone, Liam?
You stay where you go.
I know. Yeah. What? Yeah, I got them on my hands right now. You have to wait till we get back over that way. Just wait for everyone to walk the other way and we'll come the other way.
Where's my ice? Should I go check?
Barely even. Here comes a cloud.
I know, the clouds are coming.
Yay. Let's see the clock.
You need help.
I will do this.
Wait.
Oh, you take
I've got people.
Spot he said we could see way across.
That's actually.
Well, yeah, right? Not today.
Talking about over there.
That's almost ice.
Yeah.
This is water, but I can't believe it's not ice.
Yeah, well, you don't say anything. It's probably going to turn ice soon.
Yay, I want to see the water.
I don't want to see ice.
Yay, I want to see ice.
Don't fall.
Here, here's one glove. You want to take it back? Pause your video. Wait a minute, dude. Time we come back from being in New Hampshire, they're like, "What? Remember when we lived in Florida?" But now they're not saying that because they're cold. Because they're cold, they're not saying that.
So you're not down there now? You're
No,
not living down there?
we're just no, we do live down there. We just came up for a fall vacation.
Okay, so what part of Florida do you live in?
We live in West. Yeah, right now it's good. Fingers crossed. Let me take another picture of that. You're stepping on it. I want a picture of that again.
Oh yeah, this thing.
Yes, go.
Yeah, very careful here.
You alright, Mom?
Yeah. I know. That's the marker. Touch it. Touch the marker.
You can see it's gotten too cold for me. Too cold for me.
I don't know about dinner, but she's coming up.
Oh, here comes the cloud. Here comes the fresh one. Here comes. Turn around. Turn around. It hit us. I'm barely seeing
Yep. Comes the clouds.
Well, I call it tundra.
I can't believe I'm gonna have to head back to 110-degree weather in only like 2 days. Yeah. This is not sturdy.
Oh, I gotta go picture it.
Oh, there goes the clouds.
Ta-da! The eagle has landed. Alles klar? The eagle landed.
Turns up to go to the Safety Road. That's the hotel.
I wonder where North Conway is.
So I've been trying to get up there. This is a good place. Walking everybody through the sign. That sign's not very good.
The tallest point would be that chute up there.
You're in a tundra.
Hier ist gut, hier ist nichts nass. Ist alles gut. Da kann man sehr gut laufen.
Try to look what they were trying to pull up.
Here again.
We're at the top of Washington.
That's okay, that was bad. Show you. Wait a second. Good? You still there? We probably went down around the bottom for that other area.
Jacqueline. Oh, hold on, I'm coming.
Rocks cannot be. Some rocks are definitely not stable here. Like that one.
Hold on.
You gotta go this way. Down around to get to the other side.
There's like some 3 steps right over there. See that? It's just flat. Over there.
Oh. Oh, you want to go to that?
Yeah.
You can if you want, but I'm gonna go there around the edges.
Yeah. Alright, yeah. I'm gonna do that.
You're good there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Take your
I'm coming.
time. I'm gonna go down around out to the platform on the south side. Maybe.
Yeah, I think leaving that right there for now.
Yeah, well, we're going down.
Alright, I'm gonna get it for that and then I'll go.
What?
I don't have any tissues.
It's so cold that my nose is running.
Yeah. It's so cold. So cold.
Not like Halloween.
You may not realize it, but walking through the clouds right now. At this point, the geographical summit of Mount Washington, elevation 6,288 feet, the Crawford Patch terminates this path. The oldest mountain hiking trail in America was first laid out in 1819. It has been in continuous use since. At one time, it was used as a bridle path. New Hampshire Division.
And the weather you have had has been wonderful. The Tip Top House.
Imagine having to climb that thing. Just imagine that, trying to climb that thing. Imagine trying to climb that thing. That's crazy.
Oh, they're all the way down there.
Constantly changing elevation. Because up there can be way colder than down here. And that's just how Mount Washington works. But right now it is 40 out with a wind chill of 30. That's why I got all this stuff on. And Mount Washington Observatory. I've actually never been this far. So this will be a new site for me. I have it on 0.6 zoom, so you can see how far we are from how far we actually are from the ground. Around 6,000 feet in the air. It's a little bit warmer down here because you're a lot lower than way up there, but we're still a lot higher than down there, so it's still pretty cold.
On a good day. I'd like to get your photos quick because it's
I know, I took a photo with that cloud coming in. That cloud coming in.
And right there is where we started.
Look at this, the mountain.
And then
Town over there? Conway, North Conway?
No,
That's the Mount Washington
Hotel.
Hotel.
No. Way out there.
No, remember that's where we pulled into the parking lot.
The parking lot, the view spot across from it. There's Bretton Woods Resort.
No, the road goes that way, and then I
Right.
see like a big town.
Okay, so
Oh,
first of all,
Conway.
right, that's the base station, right, for the Cog Railway. Then the next thing you see is the Mount Washington Resort in white, right? And then beyond that, and that's Bretton Woods Resort behind that. That looks like a town.
Way down there?
Yeah.
Something said you can actually see Canada in Vermont.
I think that was our train that was going down now.
And there's visibility, but there's
Oh yeah, that's our train.
Yeah, that was the train we were on. It's all the way down there.
It's pulling into the station.
Do you see any other trains coming up?
I think it's just pulling down now, right? Hold steady. Oh, the clouds are heavy.
It stopped, I think.
Thought it was just coming down.
Yeah, I think it stopped. Oh, because there's a sign there.
Oh yeah, it's on the siding. That's not ours.
So that's the one that's coming up, so.
I guess, yeah.
Probably waiting for the other train to come down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I took a picture of that too, but it didn't come out as clear as yours. That's why I didn't hold it
Want
steady
to take a picture? Take a picture of me.
enough. Okay.
Right here.
Alright.
Actually, no, that's a little loose. So what I should, this,
Right
no,
there?
no. See that?
Right.
Look. See the
Just
dirt
one
spot
single
right
trip and it's all over.
there? Or even right there. To go to that dirt spot.
Right there, that little
The
piece of
dirt
dirt.
spot. Keep going. One more
Right.
back. See the dirt? Stand
Alright.
there. There you go.
You want to turn his hat a little?
Yeah.
His hat's. No, turn it so the. No,
No, that's good. Oh, hold on. Yeah. Oh, pull it up now though. You pulled it down. Pull it up.
Pull
a
the
little bit.
rim.
There you go.
Okay.
That's good.
Alright, don't squint. Try not to squint. Liam, can we get some photos of you instead of you being on the phone?
Stay there, Declan.
I sent a photo to you.
The ravine. That's a ravine.
Yeah.
Just the clouds are covering it. Let's head over to the gift shop and all that.
What if it turns into a snowstorm?
No. I mean, there's a wind chill of 30, though. So, I mean, it's kind of possible. Wind chill of 30. Starts raining. It'll be raining. Most likely not even raining, just snowing. They've already got 1 inch of snowfall this month. And there'll be probably about a couple feet more coming. Be a few feet next month. Watch as that goes out of view. Now you can't even see. Alright, let's go look inside. Man. No train yet. A lot warmer.
glaube, du nimmst die Arme. Was? Also gut. Okay. Dann schreibt mal den Benny oder der Annalena, sie soll dir die Adresse schicken vom Benny und von mir.
I'm with you at the moment. You can go grab one.
What? You know where it is?
Did you hike up? Not today. No, I didn't figure it was today, but he's got one that says this body climbed. Well, that's what I mean, they don't sell t-shirts that say this body climbed down.
Be nice to see sticking along, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, no?
Yeah. Like an essential what you need to fight.
We'll see.
I know. They're like patches. Anything you want?
Like this pen.
Yeah. Right, no, my mom's, yeah. Nice. Probably find a keychain like that.
Look at that, somebody's hiking.
That's a long sleeve t-shirt. Pens? Yes, nice fall shirt.
That's nice too. What size is it?
I have it up to size extra large.
Extra
They're
large.
adult sizes, they're unisex.
Oh, what's the bigger? That's a nice one, but it's not gonna fit.
I have some, don't have a lot right now. I have 2 sweatshirts and I have 1 long sleeve shirt.
Well, I think that's about it. I will come back in a few minutes before we board our train. We are back. God, it's coming up the mountain. Front row seat for the train coming up.
Oh yeah?
That train's full.
For the first time. Barely anybody. Now we're first train.
Yep. there's our next one. Blow the horn.
walking.
Yeah, the B train, I believe, has no crew. Yeah, with everyone
Should be the other way around. Yeah, 13, 14.
So I don't like yelling, but so this coach has this weird thing. The speakers likes to pick up the radio stations. So we shut off the mic until we get a little further down. So because it'll bar us, like you wouldn't be able to hear me. Right now you feel bumping. We're not connected. Right now he has a chain to the engine to the coach. Right now he's pulling us to the grade of the mountain. So you're feeling bumping like bumper cars. It's normal, okay? Just want to make sure you knew that and that's normal. Welcome aboard. My name is Mark. 66 for the way down. I know my guy is standing. If you guys want to switch your spot right now, don't mind. I know a few people behind me have been asking, should we go on the other side, get some pictures? If you'd like to, I'm more than happy you guys do so. There's not many in here. When we're going down, if you stand up to take pictures, just watch your balance. I don't even mind aisle. Something down here on the brakes. I just don't like you guys crashing into me. It's not the way tonight to meet people. Now, in extreme case of emergencies, the parachutes are under the benches. In the case of a water landing, your seat cushions can be used as a flotation device. Now that we got that covered, now, I didn't see your faces, but if anybody's panicked, I like to have fun here. I think every day should be fun. Every day should be an adventure. Now that we got all that covered, let's roll down a mountain. Right now we're going over our first switch. This is actually our summit switch, one of 4 switches we have to cross to get to base station. Right next to us, you'll see that the road, that is the Mount Washington Outer Road. The outer road is on the east side of the mountain. The Cog Railway is on the west side of the mountain. Really fun information about them. They're actually 8 years older than us. We started in 1869 as a horse and coach trail ride. We started in 1869, and then they started in 1861 as a horse and coach trail ride to the summit of Mount Washington. When I read that, all I came about was poor horses. So here on your right, you see a wooden cross on the west side of the coach right in front. That wouldn't cross the border mark for a young man who was hiking up here many years ago. He was hiking between semesters in college. Weather came in very quickly. He wasn't prepared for it. He died of the elements right where the wooden cross is. Over here on your left, this white sign is more a memorial marker for Lizzie Bourne. Lizzie Bourne passed away where the white sign is September 14th, 1855, hypothermia. If you ever go hiking up here, you always want to prepare and have enough clothes just in case the weather changes on you. While Washington is known for extreme winds and extreme weather, really fun fact, the reason why they're known for that is because of 3 weather fronts merge right over Washington. That's why we're known for extreme wind and extreme weather. Now, if you're right, about 11 o'clock, that's a helicopter pad. Now, we use the helicopter pad for emergency airlifts. If anybody gets injured on the Sunbelt Washington and need immediate medical attention, they'll land a helicopter right there. And then they'll air evac them to the nearest hospital to get medical attention. Also, the U.S. military has used that helicopter pad for high wind helicopter landings. The highest wind ever recorded by man happened on the Sunbelt Washington. That happened in April of 1934, and that was 231 miles per hour. My second season here, I actually saw the Coast Guard would land those 3 orange helos right there. During a day, it was blowing between 60 and 70 miles an hour wind on the helicopter pad. They were doing high wind helicopter landings. It was really, really neat to watch. Now, some really fun weather history over the summit. The warmest ever been on that summit is 72 degrees. The coldest ever been on that summit is negative 57 degrees. Now, with wind chill, it was negative 117. A lot of children always ask is how much snow does the summit get? So on average, they get 256 inches of snow a year. I'm glad I don't have to shovel that snow. So right now we are getting ready to go by part of our tracks called Hikers Crossing. You'll see the cards. The cards are hiking markers. They're stacked 3 feet high and about 3 feet apart. They're marking the different hiking trails up here. Become really good and handy for hikers in the clouds, so they keep them on the right trails and they don't get lost. So again, this Hikers Crossing. The cards start to the left, go by our tracks, and go right. This is where the Appalachian Mountain Trail comes through here. The Appalachian Mountain Trail starts on a mountain in Georgia, comes through here, and then finishes on a mountain in Maine. It's about 2,300 miles. It takes about approximately 4 to 6 months for a hiker to complete. You can see on the rocks these white flakes. The white flakes are called Formica. Millions of years ago, these rocks above were part of the ocean floor. They were under the ocean. Then millions of years ago, the continent started moving, plates started shifting, and these mountains of rocks were pushed up. There was some rough water on these rocks, eventually saltwater turned to Formica. A day like today, when the early settlers came up here, they saw the sun shining on the rocks. Formica was shining white. And that's how these mountains got the nickname, the White Mountains. A lot of people think we're called the White Mountains because there's snow on these mountains 9 months out of the year, which is true, but not how we got the nickname. And also another fun fact, it actually gets snow on the summit of these mountains any day of the year. It just has to be cold enough. So again, when the sun's out shining on the rocks and the light is shining white, that's why these mountains are called White Mountains. over here on the left, there's some beautiful rocks over here. Some really cool information about Mount Washington. Mount Washington is part of the presidential range. There are 9 mountains in this range, including Mount Washington. Mount Washington happens to be in the middle of the tallest at 6,288 feet, being the tallest mountain in the northeast. Mount Washington's the 3rd tallest mountain in the east. The tallest mountain in the east is Mount Mitchell in the Carolinas. We have 4 president mountains to the south. They're in that direction. Point them out as we get down lower. And then we have 4 president mountains. Right now, these are 4 northern prime mountains to your right side of the coach. Right next to us is Mount Clay, named after Senator from Kentucky in the 19th century. He was also Secretary of State. Second mountain is Mount Jefferson. Third one has 2 peaks. First peak is John Adams Peak. Second peak is John Quincy Adams Peak. Named after their first father, son, president. That's Mount Adams. And then the most northern president mountain is Mount Madison.
Like down? No, in.
So there's another great view on the right side of the Great Gulf.
Oh, sorry.
And then behind the Great Gulf are Mount Clay, Mount Justin, Mount Adams, and Mount Madison.
Come back here. This is our seat. No. Yeah, if you want. Or right here.
So there is a lake over there, but the lake, if you did see the lake, that is called Mare Lake. Yeah, it's usually more to that direction, but yeah, there is a lake behind the Great Gulf, and that lake's called Mare Lake. It's right here in front of you. That tripod, that is a weather observation tripod. It's recording the longitude of the weather. This is a partnership we're doing with Mount Washington Observatory. And it would be right in front of us, passing on the left side of the coach. So these tripods are at different elevations next to our tracks on the west side of Mount Washington. So this project is so that the observatory is always monitoring and recording the weather at the summit, but now just a couple of weeks they installed these weather stations to record the weather on the west side of Mount Washington and compare it to the summit weather, which is really cool partnership we're doing with Mount Washington Observatory. Right over here on your left, about 11 o'clock, you see the white buildings with the red roofs. That is Mount Washington Hotel and Golf Course. The mountain behind it with all the trails, that is Brentwood Ski Area. Now, some cool fun information about the hotel. It's the largest wooden structure in the state of New Hampshire. It's one of the few remaining grand hotels in the area. It's one of the largest grand hotels in New England. A really fun history fact. Go for the hotel, it'll pop up on your side. Yeah, the way we kind of done it. And really fun history fact of the Mount Washington Hotel. During World War II, a lot of world leaders met at that hotel. They were discussing how they were going to rebuild Europe after World War II. But I was reading, it was very fascinating because they met during the war to talk about how they were going to build out. So they're very, very confident they were going to win. And I thought it was really cool. They met right at the Mount Washington Grand Hotel, not too very far from the Powell Railway. Now over here on your right, you can see the Burks Ravine. Burks Ravine drops down 350 feet in center. Again, that's to your right. Showed you to your right is Burks Ravine. And then Great Gulf is next to us. Usually people want to know where Tuckerman's Ravine is. Tuckerman's Ravine is actually on the opposite side of the mountain. On the east side of Mount Washington by Pinkham Notch Visitor Center. Tuckerman's is world famous for their skiing. Stream skiing, people will hike up in the winter and then ski down Tuckerman's Ravine. We have some hikers on our service road. They're right to our left. Now our service road is not a official hiking trail, but we do allow people to hike up and hike down. Our service road is about 3.5 miles. It goes from Bay Station Summit. It was actually originally put in so that our track crew has access to the tracks to do maintenance. Again, we know it's not an official hiking trail, but people will hike up and down. It takes about 4 hours to hike up and about 3 hours to hike down. Now over here on your left, you're going to see the four southern part of the mountains over in this direction on the left side of the coach. Right next to us is Mount Monroe, named after Mount Monroe is the one right next to us. Then you have Mount Franklin, named after Benjamin Franklin, one of our founding fathers. Then you have Mount Eisenhower, and then the most southern part of the mountain is Mount Pierce, named after our 14th president, Franklin Pierce. Really fun fact about that. They named the presidential mountain after Pierce. He's the only president from New Hampshire. And again, your four southern part mountains are Monroe, Mount Franklin, Mount Eisenhower, and Mount Pierce. Approaching Frog Rock. Frog Rock was painted over by a frog many years ago, painted green, giving eyes and feet, right in front of us. So passing on the left side. I like to call him Rocky, they call it Frog Rock. Passing on the left side, passing the coach right now. Again, that's Rocky, the Cog Frog Rock. That name, there's actually a lake behind that building, carved up by a glacier billions of years ago. That glacier is about an acre large. It's about 5,000 feet in elevation, so it's the highest body of water east of the Mississippi. And that's where the Amadoucent River starts. Now, the Lakes in the Cloud Hiking Hut is operational Memorial Day to Labor Day. Hikers will have to get reservations well in advance to be able to spend the night there. The only way to get there is by hiking. The only way for them to get supplies is by helicopter. Now, the Lakes in the Cloud Hiking Hut doesn't look at it, but they will sleep 80 hikers and 12 staff members. They sleep in bunk beds 3 levels high. House building is the halfway point between Summit Building and Base Station. Casa on the left side, halfway house is at an elevation of 4,500 feet. We're bringing you to Base Station, which is an elevation of 2,700 feet. Really fun fact about the halfway house. We were first bringing passengers to the Summit. Those coaches did not look anything like these. They were actually flatbeds. They built roofs to go over the flatbed, so they didn't have any walls or windows or heat like these coaches do. They were simple wood benches they nailed to the platform. So at the halfway house, they actually had blankets and clothes for passengers if they got cold. Now the early trains were wood-fired steam engines. We'd have to cut down trees, chop wood, and stack it at the halfway house. So when the train was going up, they stop halfway, and passengers would cold. They go in the halfway house to get a blanket or a coat. While they were doing that, the train crew would grab as much wood as they could to put in the tender wood-fired steam engines and enough wood to get to the Summit. Now we ran wood-fired steam engines from 1866 until 1912. At first they were horizontal wood-burning steam engines. That means the boiler went up and down. Then eventually we switched over to vertical wood-fired steam engines. That means the boiler went side to side. Now our boilers are at an angle, just like the benches you're sitting on, because of the grade of the mountain. In 1912, we fully switched over to coal-fired steam engines, and we still run them to this day. Approaching our second switch down. This is the upper Wallback switch. So this is the beginning of our passing loop. This is the only part of the tracks where the trains can pass each other. We're going to go through the switch, go to the right side tracks. We call those main line. To our left, we're going to have 3 diesels coming up and a coal-fired steam engine. They'll be on our pass-by tracks. They'll be passing on the left side of the coach. Now as we're going through this switch, to your right, this building is called our switch building. In that building house the batteries for this switch. On the roof there's solar panels. Solar panels collect energy from the sun. So we're able to recharge the batteries so we're able to switch it back and forth. Our wallback switches are actually solar powered, and our other switches run off electricity. Yeah, they're not quite near Wallback yet, but we'll be passing them. Okay. All right. Thank you. You're welcome. So right now our engineer hit the switch. So if you're behind, as you can see the switch moving behind us, then we'll line up, the switch will line up to the other set of tracks so they can, so the trains going up can just go through the switch and keep their trip going to the Summit. Now I told you earlier, in 1912 we fully switched over to coal-fired steam engines. Now the diesels did not come on these tracks until 2008. So 2008 was when the first train came on these tracks. That was the green engine in 2008. And every couple of years we had another diesel. Right now our train fleet is up to 7 diesels and 2 coal-fired steam engines. Now if you look in the middle of the tracks and on the sides, you see black rocks and black sand. The black rocks are coal that found on the tender of the coal-fired steam engine. The black sand is called cinders. Cinders what you get, you burn coal. Now when the coal-fired steam engine go by, you'll see 3 types of smoke. Now the white smoke is them releasing steam. Gray smoke is because they're burning coal. And then you'll see black smoke mixed in with the gray smoke, and that is the cinders you're looking at. They go out of the stack of the coal-fired steam engine, and then they'll slowly fall down to the ground and then settle next to our tracks. From 1912 to 2008, we strictly just ran coal-fired steam engines up and down these tracks. At one point, the car railway had 10 coal-fired steam engines. So So for almost 100 years, there's strictly coal-fired steam engines going up and down these tracks, and that's why you see all this coal incinerated to the track. Now you see right in front of us, 2 trains in front of us, and then here comes the pink coach, blue engine. That's the one that brought you guys up. The pink coach. Now they pass these coaches. It's actually going to be one of those rare moments in life. You'll be able to take pictures of people, take pictures of you. Again, here's the pink coach with Tom the Brinkman. Brought you up first trip of the day. So we'll stop here, wait for the trains to go by. We still have 2 more diesels and a steam engine. Over here on the right, you can see our Wallback station. We built that a few years ago. A few years ago, we actually wanted to run year round. But the summit is a state park. They closed that building in October. We can't bring people where there is no shelter or bathrooms. So we built Wallback station, so we had a place to bring people from November 1st to the end of April. We have fire pits there. Those fire pits are actually old tops of steam engines that the welder turned into fire pits. They roast marshmallows there for s'mores, hot dogs. They have coffee and hot chocolate. They just spent half an hour at Wallback Station enjoying the winter weather on the side of Mount Washington. It's actually the highest viewpoint in the winter because Wallback is 4,000 feet and none of the ski areas in the area are that high. And I don't know if you noticed when we were going up, there was a lot of construction going on. So we run an electric line from base station to the summit. That's how they have electricity in the summit. We're actually tapping into that line. There's a junction box not too far from Wallback, about 100 yards. They built the trench and put a conduit down there, and the electricians will cut into that line and pull it to Wallback so that we actually have electric heat and lights at Wallback Station this winter. Here comes our red coach. Black engine. Here is Chris as the brakeman. What? So that got nixed. That was going to be a Skyline on our property, but they didn't want us to do it. That's right. That. So they want to put a hotel Skyline on our property. They got next. We did get permission to actually buy just below Lizzie's sign to put a station. So it would look a lot like Wallback, but made it totally out of metal because it gets very windy up there. That'll probably be in the future, well in the future. We're taking more care of replacing stuff around base station first before we decide to ever do that, because that would take a lot of planning and a lot of work. Getting a lot of material up there is a lot of logistics. And we wouldn't actually have a building up there. The only thing we build up there that would be permanent is 500 feet of tracks on both sides of our tracks. And then we would have metal platforms And then what we use for buildings would be coaches. May 1st, we'd roll them up and then bring them down in October. So we'd have another station up there. One problem we are having, or all of us, the Mount Washington Observatory, everybody, we're getting too many people on that summit. That building wasn't built for as many people as they're seeing. So us putting a station up there kind of helps alleviate some of the pressure that building's feeling. They just finished building bigger septic tank up there because it wasn't doing the job. It wasn't big enough. Here comes our third coach. Here's the yellow coach with the yellow train. Here's Fred. Now this coal-fired steam engine was actually built in 1905.
I think I can already see it.
Yeah, you can see the smoke. Usually you see the smoke before you see the train.
Oh yeah, oh, these two are train. He has a whole train YouTube channel with like 400 subscribers already. Yeah. Do you have any nature cameras, like for like the wildlife up here at all? You know, like trail cams?
So not really, because for us we own from tree line to tree line, and so usually it goes on trees,
They
and those trees are the national forest.
Yeah.
So we, not say bump heads, but you know they don't like us doing things on their land. We don't like them doing stuff on ours. So you know we get along, but it's one of those relationships. Like, so you see these rocks. I guess we had someone push those too far, and they were technically on theirs, so we actually had to come up and move them about 6 inches onto our land. So,
How dare you?
Yeah, so, I mean, we all get along. We all have to play in the same sandbox. There's actually a lot of companies that use this mountain. You got the AMC, you have the Appalachian Mountain Trail, you have the Observatory, you have the Outer Road, you have us. So there's a lot that goes on. I know I talked about Wambach earlier. Really cool is we do special events there. We've had 4 weddings there.
Oh, that's
We actually brought people there to watch the eclipse.
Oh, I bet that was fun. Could you see it good, or was it?
It was like 99.5, I guess. I thought it was pretty cool.
I would say that's pretty cool.
I mean, Lancaster's not too very far from us.
Yeah.
So I thought it was still pretty good.
Oh my gosh, that would be awesome.
And
We
then-
didn't get to see it at all.
And then we've had a couple of marketing events. Companies rented it out and did some marketing thing.
The eclipse from here.
Cool, it's like the Northern Lights.
Yes, stargazing.
So at night we don't like to go up in the dark. So,
I'm sure.
but when we have electricity at Wambach, we've been putting more lights on these trains. So you never know.
Yeah.
Our owner is a big dreamer.
Like I said, stargazing up here. would
Yeah,
be
he's owned this since
amazing.
1983, and I don't think we've ever got his list. I meant list. I know what it came out as. I meant list. I apologize. I am sorry. I meant list. It came out something else.
It's gonna be monetized.
I guess we could be saying the same thing, but his list never gets done. It seems like he just keeps adding to it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We need people like that in the world.
Who builds these?
Well, there goes my
Who builds the
monetization.
diesel engines? What are they?
So we build them. I was going to tell you about a little later, but I'll give you a little peek into it. They're John Deere engines, and then we build them at our shop. I'll tell more as we go a little lower. Well, we have to pretty much design a lot of this stuff ourselves. We actually have a mechanical engineer that designs this stuff. We had another mechanical engineer before him. He was actually a naval engineer. He designed submarines. And then he came to retire for us, and then he started designing diesels and stuff for us. Now he's retired, but he's still a consultant, so our mechanical engineer will call him when he has a question.
There she is.
Okay, here it comes. TL Coach. And then when this steam engine goes by, look at the boilers how they work, just like I said earlier, just like it benches, because you don't want the water to spill out. So if your boiler was this way, you're going up a grade, the water would just come pouring out. Now the big question a lot of people ask is, so in the steam engine you got an engineer and a fireman. When you have that steep grade on steep grades, that fireman has to shovel every 5 seconds to pull the firebox. It's a very tiring job, but he gets to take a nap all the way down until he uses compression and brakes. Now, if I didn't say it earlier, that engine is from 1905.
That's the first ever shaving haircut I heard.
Really funny story. So yesterday I was on the black engine as the brakeman, and in the morning we check everything, and he hits the horn. You ever seen those wooden train whistles?
Oh yeah.
The whistle, it sounded like that.
Oh wow.
So we had to replace the horns because for some reason you went to hit it, it sounded like the wooden whistle instead of what these are. Yeah. So right now we're just waiting for the trains for us to start moving. Would you try to keep 1,000 feet in between the trains for safety?
That was just funny though.
But a lot of the wildlife don't like the trains, so they don't come close when the
Yeah,
trains
we've been
are
doing
on.
it for 155 years, so we hardly ever really see them.
Yeah.
Once in a great while, we have seen black bear. So last December was a weird, warm December.
Yeah.
So we actually saw a huge black bear go right under our tracks and was coming through here. Yeah.
That was amazing.
So you guys kind of be leaving during the day, but when people are leaving in the evening, I tell them to keep their eye out on our road going to 302. They see a lot of wildlife on that road. That's 6 miles through the woods.
Okay, so 302, that's like where the best place for moose?
Moose is Lower Falls, Redwoods, New Hampshire. But you want to look for them in the evening.
Yeah.
That's when they usually move. Lower Falls, Redwood, New Hampshire. It's not very far from here.
Yeah, we went on a moose, the Florida moose tours.
Yeah. Did not see anything.
4 hours of nothing.
So to be honest, the best viewpoint, they put prison there. So in Berlin, it was Marshland. They put a federal prison there. That's where you used to be able to find moose all the time. They put the prison there, now it's hard to find them. So right now we're going by our Waback tank, water tank. This is at an elevation of 3,800. We use that water tank so when the steam engine needs water, he'll stop right here. You see the hose, it runs up to a spring further up the mountain. So it's gravity fed to keep filling up that water tank so that the steam engine has enough water. I don't know if the other brakeman told you, but right now he's only going to Waback. But when the steam engine goes to the summit, he uses 1,000 gallons of water and 1 ton of coal to get to the summit. Now the diesel, on the other hand, for a round trip, going from base station to the summit and back, uses 18 to 20 gallons of diesel for a round trip. So right now we're going through our third switch down. This is the lower Waback switch. This is the end of the Pasco Loop, the only part of the tracks where the train passed each other. through the switch, back onto main line. It'll be one set of tracks all the way to the base station. We went through the pass loop. We actually had a lot of things named Wombat. I had one guy tell me we're not very imaginative here with our names, but there's a reason why we call a lot of things Wombats. They homage to our past. They're a very long pass here at the Car Railway. Been doing this for 155 years. But why we call a lot of things Wombats because the original people in this area were the Abenaki tribe. They actually originally named this mountain Wombat. That was the original name of this mountain. It was called Wombat. So we changed the name to Washington. Now, when you translate Wombat from Abenaki to English, it translates as snow-covered mountain, which really fits because there's snow on Mount Washington 9 months out of the year. So it's a really cool history fact. Now, I know earlier, Jim asked me about these diesels. Again, I told you we have 7 diesels. They're all designed, built, and maintenance. Right at our shop, right below our base station, there's a maintenance shop. It's about 35,000 square feet. That's where we again build, design, build, and maintenance these engines and coaches. Now, after we're done our busy October, we're hoping in November to start building our 8th diesel. When we start building our 8th diesel, our welder fabricator will start with the frame. We'll get the frame all together, welded up. As soon as the frame's done, our mechanics will start with the engine. Now the engine for the new diesel will be a 650 horsepower John Deere Marine diesel turbo, inline 6, 12.5 liter engine. That'll give us enough power to run our 4 hydraulic pumps that spin our 4 cog gears. Our engines are hydrostatic engines. Our last engine built with the orange one in 2019. Again, our coach fleet is up to 8 coaches. This winter, we're going to do rehabs and TLC on our yellow coach and teal coach. When we finish that, we're hoping that in the spring to start building our 9th coach. And then same thing kind of will happen. Our welder fabricator will get the frame of the coach done. As soon as the frame's done, our carpenters will build it from there. Last coach built here was the pink coach in 2022. Our carpenters are going to want to build the benches you're sitting on. Our coaches are made out of pine and basswood. Pine is strong wood, good for standing, and basswood is good for bending, shaping, and carving. Now, if you are older coaches, like this one, they might have a little bit of wood mixed in. We had a master carpenter here for 20 years. He likes using some oak and ash, but now all our new coaches are made out of pine and basswood. Real cool thing about our racks, they were made by a track crew during the winter when the track crew can't do track work because they're covered in snow. They're down the shop building a rack. Now the rack is made out of 2 pieces of angle iron 12 feet long. You get a round spool, 2 inches thick. They cut it at 4 inches, then weld it at 4 inches, making the rack. Now there's only a handful of mountain climbing trains in the world. Only a few use the cog rack system. So anything we need or want pretty much outside, we build ourselves. Now there's some things that we have designed that another company built for us. When we decided to go with Wombat in the winter, we had to come up with a way to quickly get snow off the tracks quickly and safely. So our mechanical engineer designed a snow blower that It goes on the orange engine. He designed it, and a snowblower company built it for us. It actually stands 4 feet high, as wide as the engine. It bolts to the orange train's frame. There's a couple of hydraulic hoses that hooks to the train. Then they're in the winter after snowstorm, run out the snowblower train first, and then blow the snow out the rack of the rail. It's a very powerful snowblower. You can actually throw the snow all the way to the tree line. Really fun to watch, and that's how we're able to run passenger trains in the winter. Now there are 2 trains here that weren't built or designed here that are 2 coal-fired steam engines. MW9 that we passed was built in 1905, purchased from another railway. So purchased from another railway and then modified to be a common steam engine. Down in the shop is our backup engine, MW2. That was originally built in 1875. Again, purchased from another railway and then modified to become a steam engine. A really fun thing about that, we actually modified that train from wood-fired steam engine to a coal-fired steam engine. Really awesome working for a company that designs, builds, maintenance, and operates our equipment. So I see you guys looking at the trees. Now the trees with the red berries, those are called mountain ash trees. So the trees with the berries, mountain ash trees, the trees with the white bark are called birch trees. And then we have spruce and fir trees here. Now you know they're spruce because you see the cones are on top. That makes them different than pine trees. And again, there's one with the red berries, they're called mountain ash trees. Worked here. It's weird though, the mountain ash trees, when other trees are changing color, they're growing red berries. That's when they grow them.
Can you eat the berries?
They're not. So forest men be a bed, be bad or break and actually make jelly out of them.
Yeah.
They taste nasty.
Get it?
Yeah.
Leave it to the wildlife.
Yeah. Drop you off at the platform of the base station. Our station will still be open. Really cool station to explore. A lot of old pictures, old signs, a lot of history through that building. On the second floor is our museum. Really cool place to check out. On the outside of the wall of the museum is all the history of the Cal Railway. What's in the middle is really cool. That is MW3. That is our coal-fired steam engine named Hercules. Was on these tracks for many years, brought a lot of passengers up and down these tracks. Now it lives in the middle of the museum. To the right of it is a diagram of all the different parts of that coal-fired steam engine. So if you have some time, really go check out that steam engine. It's a really cool thing to check out. Now another steam engine I always tell people to look at is over by our Welcome Arch. When you're leaving here and you go through our Welcome Arch, to your right is our original steam engine. That is actually called Pepper Sacks, built in 1860. That is a horizontal wood-fired steam engine. And it's right there, so when you go through the arch to your right, you'll see it. It's on a trailer, green body, silver top. It has a trail behind it. Right above the trail says Pepper Sacks. Again, built in 1860. It's a horizontal wood-fired steam engine and helped build these tracks. Brought our first passengers to the summit on July 3rd, 1869. Brought a lot of passengers up and down. We got retired almost in the 1900s. And now it's by our entrance where people can check it out. I always tell people they should look at it at least on their way by. Really neat. Don't see many horizontal wood-fired steam engines. And a really fun history about it. It was built in Boston, Massachusetts. Built in Boston, Massachusetts. They shipped it by train in pieces to Littleton, New Hampshire. Then we got a few oxen teams to pull it from Littleton, New Hampshire to the Cal Railway. Now with that horn, Phil is letting base station know we're coming to the platforms. It's a good time to start gathering up all your belongings. Please do not leave anything behind. After I make sure you're safely on board it, I'll do a safety sweep of the coach. If anything left behind, I'll bring you to tickets for lost and found is. Right now, Phil is slowing to go over our bridge. I pointed out that lake on Mount Monroe. The water starts there, trickles down here, goes under a bridge, eventually empties into the Connecticut River. Now, if you go over and look at it, it's very clear, very, very cold water. Switch, just called our base switch. So this time, I just guys said, please remain seated. We have to go all the way to platform A. Phil has to come to go, please stop. And I had to put the brake on so we do not roll back while unloading. Then I had to quickly go outside and make sure it's safe for you to onboard. So please remain seated to let you know it is safe to onboard. I want to thank you guys riding that mountain with us. Hope you guys enjoyed. Phil and I worked really hard to do a great job. Anything left behind for a crew is very much appreciated, but not expected. I want to thank you guys for visiting us here at the Mount Washington Railroad, world's first autonomous train. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for visiting. Please make sure you so I get by.
You want your gloves or no?
I'm fine.
William. William.
We got it back. What's that, Mom? You got everything?
Yes, I believe so. I don't think anything was left behind.
Yeah, they're like pizza and deli.
Okay.
All right. They're at 302 Lights. Take a right.
pretty much it here on the Cog Railway at Mount Washington.